What is up, everybody? I am gonna be going live here with Danielle shortly. This time. Okay.
Oh my God. Is it working?
It is now. Yeah, but I was telling everybody you're in a snowstorm. We're dealing with some tech issues.
It's not. It's really pretty. So I can see. I'm sitting in front of my window, and I can see all of the snow falling, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I feel like I'm channeling my inner Canada. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm going to kick off this live because it was supposed to be live on my page, but we're having some technical difficulties, but it will not stop us from going live. So, hello. I hope this is on both of our pages. Is it?
I hope so. We'll figure that out after.
Let's see if I can share my video. Anyone that's watching can see. Okay, share video. Where do you share it to?
Your stories, your page.
Share this live video with others so they can watch too. Okay, well, we're just gonna start because I'm not sure why this is doing this. So hello, okay, let's start from the top. Hello everyone, my name is Danielle DeGrande. I hope you're having an amazing day. I am so excited to be interviewing Sydney Crow. I've been wanting to do this interview with Sydney Crow for a while, and I guess interview feels a little formal, but I wanted her to share her story because I have been shouting gut health and mental wellness from the rooftops since 2019 when I first got sober and learned about this missing piece of information. And over the course of the last almost 6 years, I've been able to find joy in other people's stories. And Sydney's story is so awesome. We titled this How Healing Her Gut Accidentally Got Her Sober because I want you to listen to this. She never really intentionally was looking to get sober. And I want to really talk about this because I know there is a giant movement towards sober curiosity, towards alcohol-free, and just like at this point in our lives, what could it look like if we really focused on our gut health and our mental wellness and possibly explored a life alcohol-free? So we're going to talk a little bit about how this has not only transformed her health, how it accidentally helped her get sober. We're going to talk about how the business end of this, how she actually turned this into a business, and how it's helped her with becoming a better parent, if you can relate. So I'd love to know in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you're with us live, please drop live in the comments. I'd love to hear where you're at. So I'm going to just give a little intro about Sydney, and then I'm going to ask her a couple questions. So Sydney also goes by the name of the Mom Empowerment Coach. Her and her husband, Sean, live in the Canadian Rockies, and she is a mom of 2 young girls. And she loves to travel. Travel is her love language. So I've had the privilege of meeting Sydney in 2022 when she joined me in the mental wellness movement. And since then, we've become awesome friends, and I just love her to death. So Sydney, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm super stoked.
All right, so let's get right into this. So Sid, what did your life look like before finding Amari, and what challenges were you facing kind of with your health that led you to even like be curious about this in the first place, or open to even learning about it?
Yeah, I mean, life for me always looked pretty good on the outside. I am a type A like perfectionist, and so I always would put my best foot forward on the outside, but inside life was crumbling. Honestly, it was a hot mess. We had recently got our oldest daughter's diagnosis. I was struggling with all of the what ifs with that. Doctors not really giving me concrete answers, and that started to lead me down a more holistic approach. Myself personally, I had been on anti-anxiety medications for, 7 or 8 years consistently, and when I had went on those, my doctor was like, you'll just be on these for a year and it'll be good, and life's going to move forward. I was struggling with postpartum anxiety. I was struggling just to get out of bed in the day. I was raging on my kids on a regular basis. Like, life inside my 4 walls was not a happy, healthy environment. And so when we got our daughter's diagnosis, I was like, they were like, try this med, or maybe this would work. And it was always these possibilities or might works. And that just, as a mom, did not sit well with me. It's so funny how moms will always do more for their kids than they will for themselves. And so that really started to lead me down how can I best support McKinley? How can I find different solutions that didn't result in her feeling like she was some lab rat, right? That's what it felt like. Like, try this, try that. And I was like, this just does not sit well with me as a mom. And when Amari originally came across my desk, it was presented to me as a business opportunity. And it wasn't until I found out about the patented kids line that I was like, full yes, I'm diving in, let's go, like the biggest pack possible. And what if this is the answer that I had been looking for? So that's really how life looked before this. It was really a hot mess express that on the outside nobody would have known about.
How relatable is that? How
Yeah.
relatable is that when everything was out like on the outside and then internally we're struggling? I hate to use the word struggle, but like so many people in this day and age, right? Like life is really stressful. And especially as a mom, like I know how passionate you are about helping your daughter. And so for Amari, were you interested in the kids line, the adult line, or both?
Well, I said yes because of the kids line, but like any parent, I feel like we'll say yes and do things for our kids. But if I'm going to give it to her, of course, I was going to take it for myself
Yeah.
and have my own results. And so, you know, I know we can't make drug claims and this is my personal journey, but you know, I was off my anti-anxiety medication. You know, she's now off her ADHD medication. Like there was all of these things that just kind of happened as a result of this.
Yeah.
I won't say that they're directly related,
Right.
but I just, for us, that was a huge thing. I really wanted us to be a more natural household. You know, I was using alcohol as a huge coping mechanism prior to this. And my husband had gone sober, or alcohol free, I guess, for about, oh, I want to say over a year, almost a year by the time Amari came across my plate. And when he told me he was going to quit drinking, I literally told him, you're fucking crazy. I'm never giving this up. Like those were my exact words. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to survive without this. Like this is what I use to like feel okay. And if that wasn't a huge red flag at the time, I don't know what is, but I kept living that lifestyle. And it wasn't until I was on the gut health protocol for roughly 3 months where I was like, you know, maybe I'll try this for 30 days. Maybe I'll just like do a full 30-day sober kick, right? I had never been successful with those in the past. And, you know, that was November 1st, 2022. And here I am, you know, 2.5 years later, and I haven't had a drop.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Who can relate to that? I mean, I think what was my line was I'd rather die than give up alcohol. And I proactively would try to get sober for many years. And I am in AA, you pick up these chips, and I had a bag of chips for 30 days because I would never make it past those 30 days. And so I think that's really like a common thing for a lot of people is like once you remove the alcohol, and you get a little bit of time, like if you don't have like tools to repair your body and like rebalance your dopamine and serotonin naturally, like if you don't feel awesome, it's more likely you're going to go back. So I love that like you were not intentionally looking to get sober, because what I love about the whole sober movement, like some people, it's life or death and they need to get sober, right? Other people are like, I don't know if this aligns with who I want to be. And then all of a sudden, like they remove the thing and they're like, holy shit. This was actually causing all these things in my life, and now I'm able to live a much higher quality of health in life and show up for the people that I love and care about the most.
Yeah.
So I love that that is your experience and that like you unintentionally got sober, because I mean, one of the main things with alcohol is it gets in the way of like the connection and the memories that you want to make with your family.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, it hasn't been an easy journey. I feel like that was just like the gateway, because for the last 2.5, almost 3 years now, it has been this like almost like a ladder effect in my wellness, right? Like it wasn't just like, oh, I take Amari and everything in my life is magically better. It was like, that was the first step that allowed me the bridge to implement all of these other things in my life.
I would say it's like the catalyst. It was like the catalyst to like clearing the fog, helping me like we have like these insatiable cravings for like sugar and alcohol, and I started to feel better, and then I started to build on that. It was like building on healthy habits, and like you said, eventually getting off like, you know, we won't make any drug claims, but getting off like the things that were just band-aid approaches and not getting to the root. So I love this, and if you can relate, I'd love to know in the comments. I'd love to know if anyone on here is sober curious. If you're sober, maybe you got sober and you still feel like shit. I'd love to know. If you are brave enough in the comments, share with us. We'd love to hear. Okay, so Sid, how did Amari, you said that it helped you kind of become the catalyst for starting to make healthy changes? What did you like notice at first when you started taking these products?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that I wanted to hit the snooze 10 times before I rolled out of bed. That was probably the first thing that I really noticed. I would like, my alarm would go off and I'd be like, oh, I'm an adult. I can function. Like I can get out of bed and not hate life right now. This was a great first step. I had a lot more energy. I was eating healthier. What else? The big one for me, like as a mom, was that I wasn't raging so much. I mean, case in point, even today, I have one kid homesick right now. My other kid's off school. Like my day did not go totally as planned. And normally that would cause me to just kind of derail my life. And I just feel like I'm functioning at a lot more capacity as a parent without raging on my kids, which is what I'm just so grateful for that.
Well, mom rage is real, right? And that's why they market mommy wine culture to moms, right? That's like the whole thing.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yes, and that's, I mean, I have a dog, and I don't have any children, but I do have a dog, and I lose my SHIT sometimes on her, and I feel terrible, and I it's a lot of pressure and a lot of like being a mom, and so I love that this was able to help you. Like those are the like small changes that are actually the biggest changes, right? It's like how you show up in your life, how you react to stressors, your emotional regulation. Waking up in the morning and not just like going through the motions and pounding coffee and taking Advil because you're hungover, or just like, it's like that vicious cycle. It's like actually having that moment to set the tone for your day, set the tone for how you want to be with other people. Those are like the big changes that I feel like sometimes it's like we can't see them. So it's like, oh, it's like we can't, but like that's the actual things that move the needle forward. So you mentioned it's changed you as a mom. What would you say, like, has made you a better parent? Has made you a better parent? What do you think? Like, how is improving your mental and physical health?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I set just a much better example for my kids. My girls are going on 10 and 12 now. They're getting to that like prepubescent era. I want to show them what taking care of their body, because we get one vessel in this life. Like, I want it to last. When I was, in my all the way through my teens, I was drinking, got into drugs, all of that. I was drinking at the peak, I think 6, 7, 8 cups of coffee a day. Like basically I would joke about like needing an IV drip with just like a coffee pot at the top. I'm like, just hook it up, I'm good, And I thought that was kind of normal, where I would get up, go to coffee, switch to wine or White Claws by the afternoon or evening, and I just was like surviving. And now I feel like I set the tone where I'm like thriving, and I set that example for my kids, and I'm showing them how to take care of their bodies. So that's a huge win for me. I also feel like it's shown them the other side of the coin, right? Like I think for me growing up, drinking was almost a rite of passage. Like it was just like, oh, you get to a certain age and you drink. And now I can show them like, I can still go out and have a great time and dance until 3 a.m. at our friend's wedding and have a good time. And it doesn't have to be alcohol related. So I'm not naive. Like I don't think my kids are never going to drink, but at the same time, I want to show them that it doesn't have to be what it was for me.
That's so amazing. I love this so much. Like it's so true. Your children, like they grow up and they see their parents and they are modeled, like everything's modeled after what they see. And to be able to grow up in a healthy household where you take your vitamins together in the morning and you do your walks as a family and you're emotionally regulated and like things like it's like the ripple effect of just the simple thing of just starting this is like the catalyst for so many other things. So I see lots of people.
You say emotional regulation, and like that's a thing, right? Like we're all human. We're gonna have this wide variety of emotions that come with that. And Sean and I, even though we're taking supplements and we're taking care of our bodies, we're not immune to being upset with our kids. But we're showing them how to like regulate, and we're showing them how to come back from that and level that back out. And so I just feel like that mental wellness piece is just so important, and teaching them at such a young age, hopefully I'll not make them have as many onion layers to peel back in their 40s like I do.
I so agree. I love this. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, you said that this came into your life as a business opportunity, but what inspired you to turn this into a business opportunity? Like, what did you see that was like, okay, I actually want, because you are an entrepreneur at heart. You have multiple businesses. Like, why did you want to incorporate this into your life?
Yeah, I mean, this particular business, like I had dabbled in network marketing in the past. I had never really seen like success with it. And I think for me, it was the team environment that really kept me involved. Like our team culture, our environment, the friendships and the relationships that I've built here was phenomenal, is phenomenal. I shouldn't put that in past tense. It's still a current thing. But for me, it's the freedom, the flexibility with it. You know, like I said, I've got a sick kid home today. My kids are off school this entire week. I'm still able to kind of fit this into the nooks and crannies and pull back on the weeks where I need to pull back and not have to be subject to somebody saying like, oh, you need time off and asking for that approval. I also, like, my kids have a ton of time off throughout the school year. They get 2 weeks off at Easter. I get to travel with them during that time. They're off during the summer. Like, I don't want to have somebody else raise my kids or take care of my kids. I'm very grateful that this industry has allowed me to be flexible to stay home with them when I need to.
So it's the freedom piece for you.
Absolutely. 100%. Freedom fighter all the way.
Through and through. All right, so what would you say to somebody that is like, okay, this sounds cool, the products like sound cool, gut health, what would you say to someone that's listening to this that's maybe skeptical about Amari, about the products, or even the business side?
Yeah, I would say you're never going to know for yourself if this is the right path unless you give it a go. I mean, I think that our company is second to none with their money back guarantee. I mean, I don't know everybody and their dog takes supplements now. I think that literally. And so I think that if you can, like, I can't go to my local pharmacy or health food store and buy supplements with a 90-day money back guarantee. That's just not heard of. So I would say, like, if you're skeptical, but you're on the health train already, then there's that for you. You're never going to know unless you try it. I will also say that, like, this business will give you the connections and the community, which 80% of people are looking for. So if you're just looking for somebody to like connect with, then like the community that we have is a total vibe. And, you know, whether you are there to make $500 a month or $5,000 a month, like the choice is yours. Like, it is what you make of it. I think did I answer all the questions? I feel like you threw a few questions there.
I did. But I agree. Like, I think as adults, we always I think Mel Robbins just did a podcast on this about how why making adults friends when you're adults is harder, right? Than when you were like younger and you were going out to the bars and you're drinking and like everyone's your best friend, right? It's different because your priorities change, your life changes. And I know that like, I want to be surrounded by people that are on the same trajectory as me, people that are working towards becoming a better version of themselves, that are looking for like, I'm not going to relate to somebody that has no growth mindset, that is, you know, that lives in a really scarcity mindset, that there's just, I relate to a certain type of person. What I love is like this community is like, we're all pushing each other.
Yeah. Did I lose your volume? Oh, we lost your sound. I can't hear you. Oh, there we go. You're back.
You guys, what is this today? What was I saying, right? So we're all in this together. So we get to, because entrepreneurship and adulthood is lonely anyway, right?
Yeah.
So we get to come together, we get to grow together, we get to travel together.
Yeah.
And we get to become better versions of ourselves. It's like they always say, this is like network marketing is like personal development with a paycheck. I think that that's true. And I have my best friends are all in this, and we all are doing this together. And so I love that piece. I think community is so underrated. And especially when you get to make an impact and an income together, because making money together, like making money is not a bad thing. We should all, women, come together and make a lot of money. So that's my rant on how I second that. And last but not least, I want to ask you this one question. If somebody is listening to this right now and they relate to your story or your journey, or they have questions and they maybe want to learn more or take the first step, what would you tell them?
I would say I was probably one of the biggest skeptics when I first signed on myself. Like, it was something that I was like, maybe this will be the answer that I've been looking and praying for. Maybe it won't. but I decided to give it a shot because I knew that my family needed something. I knew that we needed something to bridge that gap. And I feel like this company and this team and these supplements, they did that for us, right? Like the impact and the domino effect that it has had in my household, where my daughter, I mean, to be frank, like her sleep schedule, like this alone would have made me sign up. But like she used to struggle for 2 hours to fall asleep at night, and now she's religiously asleep within 20 minutes. Like so many parents are struggling with sleep, and it just like wreaks havoc on the rest of the household. And so I would have never gotten that if I hadn't just been brave enough to say, like, maybe I'll just give it a go. So if you're somebody that is like really struggling and you can't find that missing piece to just like bridge that gap, I would say, what do you have to lose because of the 90-day money back guarantee? And if you're somebody that's out there looking for a little bit more like freedom and flexibility because you want to be excuse me, at home with your kids, or you want to be at home with your dog, or however that works, or you want to travel more with your husband or your partner, like this industry is second to none for providing those opportunities. And you're never going to know if that works for you unless you give it a go.
There's no other industry with zero overhead, low risk,
Yeah.
low point of entry. Like there's really nothing else like this where you can literally just create supplemental or full-time income from your phone
Yeah.
and the internet and all the things. Sydney, thank you so much for letting me interview you. Y'all, if you have any questions, reach out to Sydney or I directly. Drop transform in the comments if you listen to this and you are inspired, you are activated, this related to you in some way. We would love to know if you were here with us. I hope everyone has an amazing day. Looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you. Bye.
Bye.